Hey there, fellow gardeners, it's your friend from the Soil House, and today I want to share something that completely transformed my approach to growing food for my family. You know that sinking feeling when the first frost hits and you watch your beautiful summer garden slowly fade away? I used to think that meant months of relying solely on grocery store produce until spring rolled around again. But here's the truth. Winter doesn't have to mean the end of fresh, homegrown vegetables. In fact, with the right varieties and a little planning, you can keep harvesting nutritious food all season long. Over the years, I've learned which vegetables not only survive but actually thrive in colder weather. Some even taste better after a few frosts. So grab your favorite gardening notebook, and let's dive into the 12 vegetables that will keep your family fed through the coldest months. If I could only grow one winter vegetable, kale would be it. This leafy powerhouse actually becomes sweeter after frost because the cold temperatures trigger the plant to convert starches into sugars as a natural antifreeze. I've harvested kale from under 6 inches of snow, and let me tell you, there's something incredibly satisfying about that. For winter production, I recommend varieties like Winter Boar, Lacinato, also called dinosaur kale, or Red Russian. Plant these in late summer, around 8 to 10 weeks before your first expected frost. Kale can handle temperatures down to the low 20s without protection, and with a simple cold frame or row cover, it'll survive much colder weather. The key is harvesting from the outside leaves inward, which allows the plant to keep producing. I typically get harvests well into January, and in milder winters, sometimes through March. Spinach is another cold weather champion that often surprises new winter gardeners. The trick with spinach is choosing the right varieties and timing your planting correctly. Cold-hardy varieties like Bloomsdale Long-Standing, Tai, or Winter Giant are specifically bred to handle freezing temperatures and slower growth rates. I plant my winter spinach in early fall, giving it time to establish before the really cold weather hits. Once established, spinach will go semi-dormant during the coldest weeks, but bounces back quickly during any warm spells. In my garden, I've found that spinach planted in September provides harvests from November through early spring. The leaves might grow slowly during deep winter, but they're incredibly tender and flavorful, nothing like the thick, bitter summer spinach. Here's something magical. Carrots left in the ground during winter become incredibly sweet. Just like kale, they respond to cold by converting starches to sugar. I've pulled carrots from frozen ground in February that tasted like candy, and my kids actually got excited about eating vegetables. The secret to winter carrots is mulching heavily. After your carrots have matured in fall, cover them with 8 to 12 inches of straw, shredded leaves, or hay. This insulation prevents the ground from freezing solid, making harvest possible even in winter. I grow varieties like Napoli, Bolero, and Mokum for winter storage, but honestly, most carrot varieties will work if you protect them properly. Just mark where your rows are before covering them, or you'll be playing hide and seek with your carrots under all that mulch. Leeks are seriously underrated in American gardens, and I'm on a personal mission to change that. These mild, sweet members of the onion family are incredibly cold-hardy and provide substantial harvests when most other vegetables have given up. I've harvested leeks in single-digit temperatures without any issues. Start leeks in early spring for winter harvest, as they need a long growing season. Varieties like King Richard, Tadorna, or Giant Musselburgh are particularly winter hardy. The beautiful thing about leeks is that they'll stand in the garden all winter and you can harvest them as needed. I typically mulch around the base to make harvesting easier, but unlike carrots, they don't need heavy covering. Each plant provides enough for a hearty soup or side dish, making them perfect for winter cooking. I'll be honest, I didn't like Brussels sprouts until I grew and harvested them after frost. Store-bought sprouts picked before cold weather can be bitter and unpleasant, but frost-sweetened homegrown Brussels sprouts are a completely different vegetable. They're nutty, sweet, and absolutely delicious roasted with a little olive oil. These plants need to be started in early summer for winter harvest, and they take up quite a bit of space, but they're worth it. Varieties like Long Island Improved, Catskill, or Diablo are excellent choices. The plants themselves are remarkably cold-tolerant, surviving down into the teens without protection. I harvest from the bottom of the stalk upward, which allows the plant to keep producing. A single plant can provide harvests for weeks, and in my Zone 7 garden, I'm usually picking Brussels sprouts from November through February. Parsnips are having a moment in farm-to-table restaurants, and gardeners need to get on board with this trend. These cream-colored roots look like pale carrots but have a unique, sweet, almost nutty flavor that intensifies after frost. In fact, many gardeners deliberately leave parsnips in the ground all winter because they taste terrible before cold weather improves them. Plant parsnips in spring for winter harvest, as they need a long growing season of around 120 days. The germination can be slow and spotty, so I always plant extra and thin later. Varieties like Hollow Crown, Gladiator, or Albion are reliable choices. Like carrots, mulch them heavily in fall and harvest as needed throughout winter. I found that parsnips are more forgiving of frozen ground than carrots, and they'll hold in the ground until spring if you don't get around to harvesting them all. The key to successful winter vegetable gardening is understanding your climate and working with it rather than against it. In milder climates, you might be able to grow all these vegetables with minimal protection. In colder regions, simple season extension like row covers, cold frames, or low tunnels makes the difference between success and frozen plants. Start by experimenting with a few of these vegetables and see what works in your specific microclimate. Every garden is different, and you'll learn something new each season. I recommend keeping notes about planting dates, variety performance, and harvest periods so you can improve your winter garden year after year. Remember, winter gardening isn't just about fresh food, it's about connecting with the cycles of nature and discovering that abundance is possible even in the coldest months. There's something deeply satisfying about pulling vegetables from your garden when everything around you seems dormant and lifeless. I hope this guide inspires you to try winter vegetable gardening or expand what you're already growing. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to the Soil House for more practical gardening advice, and share this article with your gardening friends who might be ready to extend their growing season. Let's keep building our gardening community and learning together, one season at a time. Happy growing, and I'll see you in the garden.